If you're having trouble getting over a breakup and moving on, you're in the right place. Pull up a chair and lean on in because I've got something to say to you today that you've been waiting to hear. We always know that it's going to be so hard getting over someone, but we never realize just how hard it's going to be. Whether he ended it or whether it was you, the reality is you didn't want it to end. All you ever wanted was it to work out. But in the end, you realized that it was going to take more than just you making that happen. So here you are. You're trying to accept the reality of what is, trying to move on. But that deep sadness and that longing for what could have been lingers on, leaving you wondering if you're ever going to get over him. Sound familiar? Yeah, getting over a recent or even not so recent breakup can be one of the most difficult things in life that we do. It makes sense because if you think about it, your life was intertwined with this person. You opened and you shared your whole heart with him, making yourself vulnerable to your worst fear, having that same heart crushed and broken into a million little pieces, and then facing the reality of having to start all over again, alone. So if it feels like the only thing you can bring yourself to do is continue to hold out hope that someday you're going to wake up and find out that it was really all just a bad dream, the reality is that the sooner you can bring yourself to begin to move on from this dream, this fantasy, the better you're going to feel. Stop here for just a minute with me. Is this you? Have you ever had trouble getting over a breakup and moving on? Pause the video here and let me know in the comments below, even if it's just a yes, I've been here, or no, not me. And then go ahead and click the subscribe button while you're at it. One of the most common scenarios that I see in my coaching practice is beautiful, loving, caring women who are having trouble getting over a breakup and moving on. They just want to get back together with their ex. But here's the problem. If you're still holding out hope that you're going to get back together with him, then you are going to be subconsciously comparing him to every guy you meet. And this might not sound like a big deal. After all, you have to have some rating system for the guys that you meet and date, so why not have a gold standard to compare them to? Well, the problem is that this kind of gold standard is actually setting the bar at an impossible high. You're never, ever going to match him. And it's not because he was anything that amazing. No, to be clear, there is something else going on here. And it's because when you spend your time and energy reminiscing about your past relationships, you're not really remembering your ex himself, but instead you're remembering only the wonderful feelings that you had when you were with him. And not just that, you're also remembering all the dreams, all the plans that you were looking forward to that included doing them with him. So you're experiencing the loss of those future events because now they won't happen the way that you imagined they would. The problem is that these feelings are filtered through your memory, and your mind idealizes these memories. And that future, well, of course it's impossibly perfect because that's what we do best. We envision a future that's perfect based solely on this idealism and what we know we could make possible instead of the reality that was the much more likely scenario. The earlier in the relationship that your breakup occurs, the more optimistic you're going to feel about it, and the more you're going to put it and him up on that pedestal. So idealized, so elevated, that it takes on almost mythical status. He's your hero, your dream come true. In your mind, it was so perfect, so wonderful. He did all the right things, said all the right things, and was exactly what you always wanted. You're Mr. Right, your dream guy. But the reality is that's all it was, just a dream. The truth is he wasn't your dream guy, or it wouldn't have ended. Because your real dream guy would feel the same way about you as you feel about him. That's part of the dream. And if that was true, you wouldn't have broken up. Remember, if he really was Mr. Right, he wouldn't have crushed your heart the way he did. I'm not saying he's a bad guy for doing it. He may be torn up at even just the thought of how it's hurt you. It's just that the relationship wasn't right, at least for him. And that means he wasn't your Mr. Right. Real love with someone who truly is Mr. Right is always reciprocal, always, with both of you on the same page. And you wouldn't want it any other way. You want to be the right one for him, as much as he's the right one for you. And hanging on to this relationship is only holding you back. Now, I know it's never easy to let go of a dream, but the bottom line is that holding on to this, never going to give up hope for your past relationship is what keeps you from making progress in your life right now. And it's what's keeping you from moving toward the relationship that you really want. A healthy relationship with the person you're actually meant to be with. If you continue to hold on to the belief that the two of you are going to get back together, then you will not get to the grieving stage, which is such a necessary part of moving forward. You need to realize right now that you are not going to get back together, and make it your choice. You need to remember the reasons that the two of you are not together. Finally breaking free of the chains that holding on to your ex puts you in. Separating from your ex mentally, emotionally, as hard as it is, it allows you to truly explore your true self and connect to the beautiful woman that you are. You can finally release the negative feelings about your ex and replace those with positive feelings about yourself and your life. When you stop thinking about him, eventually those negative feelings that you can't shake are going to disappear, and you're going to be ready to allow new love into your life. Know that these feelings that you felt with him were yours, okay? You haven't lost the ability to feel those feelings. He didn't cause you to feel them. You felt them because you have the capacity to feel that kind of love. That's not him. That's all you, which means that you can feel it again. Instead of letting your heart get hardened, use this experience to propel you forward towards an even better relationship, because, beautiful, you deserve to be happy.